Hey everybody. So again, I normally do these Game of the Week videos on Sunday mornings because I do the week as Sunday through Saturday. But I'm going to be busy again tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to do videos. So I'm doing the Games of the Week again today on Saturday for next week. So these are what I think are the best games of the week for Sunday, October 14th, tomorrow through Saturday, October 20th. So let's get right into it here. Tomorrow, Anaheim versus St. Louis. I think that's going to be a really good game. St. Louis, obviously, a lot of hype coming into this year with them. Big off season for the Blues. And Anaheim off to a surprisingly good start. They were a team that I expected to really decline this year and not be as good as they have been for the past few years, and they're off to a really good start, and that has not been the case. So I think that's going to be a really good game. Then on Monday, Minnesota versus Nashville, Central Division matchup between two expected playoff teams. Anytime, the Central Division is really good and fun to watch and really close. And whenever teams in the Central meet up, it's usually a great game, usually a pretty physical game. Those teams do not like each other very much. So Minnesota Nashville, that's just another great Central Division matchup, and that will be a really fun game to watch. Tuesday, the 16th, we have Philadelphia versus Florida. I think that's going to be a really fun game. Two teams that expect to make the playoffs. And then Edmonton versus Winnipeg. Winnipeg has not exactly been dominant to start this year. They've racked up some losses early. Edmonton has not won a game yet. So they have a chance today to beat the Rangers, but we'll see. Edmonton hasn't played great so far, and they're looking to bounce back after an abysmal season last year. So we'll see what they can do against a presumably better Winnipeg team. So that should be a fun game. Wednesday, New York Rangers versus the Washington Capitals. That's on NBC on Wednesday, or NBCSN. Metro Division rivalry. Teams that have played in the playoffs against each other in recent history. Not super recent history, but recent history, and division rivals. That's a fun matchup. So Rangers and Capitals should be pretty good, even though the Rangers aren't that great this year. Thursday we have Pittsburgh versus Toronto. That is a game right there. Two high flying offenses that can score a ton of goals. A little bit lacking on the defense and on both those teams, but that should be a very high scoring, very run and gun affair, and a really fun game to watch. Then we have Friday the 19th. There's only 3 games that night, and they are all fantastic. Florida versus Washington. I think that'll be a great game, real physical matchup. And again, Florida looking to make that jump to being a playoff team. Washington, the defending Stanley Cup champion. That should be a really fun game. Nashville versus Calgary. Calgary has not gotten off to the best starts. They were a team looking to be much improved this year. That's going to be a real good test against Nashville, who, once again, is the Nashville Predators. They look really good. And then Minnesota versus Dallas, another great Central Division matchup there. That game is on NBC, SN, that Minnesota-Dallas game. And that, like I said, anytime Central Division teams match up, it's really fun to watch. So I can't wait to watch those two go at it. And then lastly, Saturday, October 20th, we have the Devils versus Flyers. Pretty good rivalry there. The Devils don't have the same kind of rivalry with these Metro Division teams the way that like Pittsburgh, Philly, New York, and Washington all hate each other. The Devils aren't really in that mix as much, but when the Devils play the Capitals and when the Devils play the Flyers, it's usually a really rough and tumble game. and they just don't like those teams at all. So Philly and New Jersey is usually a really good matchup and a really physical matchup. And again, both teams were playoff teams last year. Devils are off to a better start than I expected this year. Philly, they've had some ups and downs early, but they're a really good team. So that should be a really fun game to watch. And then Anaheim versus Vegas late that night. Pacific Division, Anaheim, like I said, off to a great start. Really surprisingly good start. Vegas off to a very bad start. Not the start of the year that Vegas wanted. I believe they're 1-4 now. Man, it was a long time into last season before they lost 4 games in regulation. So not stark contrast to start this season for the Golden Knights and what they did last year. So they're looking to turn it around against a division opponent and a very difficult opponent. So Anaheim versus Vegas should be a really fun game. So those are my games of the week for this coming week, the 14th through 20th. If you get a chance to watch any of them, certainly do. A few of those games will be featured on NBCSN as the national TV game for the U.S. I know that the Rangers and Capitals are on NBCSN on Wednesday night, and on Friday, Minnesota versus Dallas is. So you'll at least get the chance to watch a couple of those. Maybe some more if you have NHL TV or some NHL Network or something like that. But those should all be really fun games to watch. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.